These are legit, real deal inks from some of the industry's leading brands, purchased from a reputable tattoo supplier. But what happens when you buy these reputable branded inks from the likes of eBay and Amazon? Join me in this video, guys, where I'm finally going to put to bed what the ink you should be buying, as well as where you should buy it from, and what happened when I actually made contact with not one, but two Chinese manufacturers of cloned ink and confronted them. Guys, trust me, you do not want to miss this video. Hey everyone, and welcome to this video. So this video is basically a follow-up from a video that I uploaded a while ago now on a fake bottle of Intenze ink, and I compared it with a genuine one. Now, if you didn't see that video, give me 1 minute just to quickly bring you up to speed. So I've been getting a lot of questions asking if the cloned ink from eBay is the same as the genuine products that you buy from reputable suppliers. Some people saying it's exactly the same and it was basically a dark cult conspiracy that suppliers sell ink at ramped up prices just to fill their pockets with your hard-earned cash. So I made a purchase from eBay which was supposed to be a genuine bottle of Intenze ink. The product swiftly arrived with the postage label stating that it came from the Philippines. The total cost of this product was a whopping £1.54. To put that into perspective, the price included the cost of the ink, the bottle, the packaging, the postage from the Philippines to the UK, the eBay seller fees and the PayPal fees. After doing a side-by-side comparison with the genuine bottle of Intenze, I reached the conclusion that the fake ink was most likely not even tattoo ink, but looked more like standard household paint. Following this video, I received a huge backlash from my Filipino friends saying the ink wasn't manufactured in the Philippines, but just posted from there, and added to this, I should basically be burned at the stake for even suggesting it was made there. To which my response was, if it was manufactured in China, then even further costs would have been added to the breadcrumb profit the eBay seller received. But ultimately, the video wasn't about where the ink came from, it literally could have come from the moon for all I cared. The point of the video was to highlight the dangers of buying cloned ink. But to make it up to my Filipino friends, in this video I'm doing now, I've decided to order not one, but two bottles of ink off of eBay directly from China, from two separate sellers, to rule out the fact the ink isn't just unique to one rogue seller. And this brings us all up to date and leads us nicely into today's video. So now we're all up to speed, we can move forward. Now, in the original video, I had the odd comment that the ink poured from the cloned ink bottle was shaken too much, and that's why there was differences between the cloned ink and the genuine one, and all sorts of weird and wonderful reasons why the cloned ink was just as good as the genuine one, but somehow I manipulated the bottle to make it seem a lot worse than it actually was. So, to make the comparison as fair as possible, I've even counted the amount of times I've shaken each bottle in this video before pouring them. I've also searched for the cloned inks with the exact names as the genuine counterparts, so there can be no confusion of people saying, well, the colours aren't the same because I've ordered the same colour but different shades. So to make this video as fair as possible, I've managed to order cloned inks from eBay with the label stating that they are Baby Blue by Intenze and also Hot Pink by Eternal. Now, obviously, I had no bother at all getting the genuine ones because they were purchased from my regular tattoo supplier, which is Barber DTS in the UK. So let's get straight into it and first take a look at the genuine bottle of Baby Blue by Intenze. You can see the top of the bottle is black, sporting an easy pour lid, which alleviates the need to remove the top when you need to remove any seals when the ink is new, so this ultimately reduces the chances of contaminating your ink. The bottle is also embossed with the Intenze logo, actually formed into the plastic. Also notice how nice and neat the label is with it all nicely aligned. Now this bottle cost me £10.50 plus VAT from Barber DTS. So let's now take a look at the supposedly genuine bottle of Baby Blue off of eBay from China. So it doesn't take a genius to straight away spot the obvious colour difference here. The colour is more akin to a royal blue rather than a baby blue. Also, the lid is not an easy pour design but just a standard top. You can see there's no logo embossed into the bottle, and also take a look at how poor the label has been applied. It doesn't line up, parts of it aren't even stuck to the bottle, and the overall look of it is quite shabby. This bottle was purchased from eBay for £2.81 from China, and that also included the postage and the packaging. Now when we compare the two side by side, we can really start to appreciate the huge differences between the colours, the style of the bottle, and the lack of authenticity. Now the next bottle we're going to look at is the genuine bottle of Hot Pink by Eternal. Again, this was purchased from Barber DTS. This one cost me £11 plus VAT. Notice on the bottle how the label is placed nice and neat, and there's an expiry date printed on the actual bottle. And like the Intenze one, it also has the Eternal logo embossed into the plastic. Now the next bottle we're going to look at is the Eternal Hot Pink from eBay. Now here's the clone version of the Hot Pink. Straight away you can see the label is different. The label doesn't sit straight. It hasn't got the expiry date printed on the plastic, and it also doesn't have the Eternal logo embossed onto the bottle. Now when it came to buying the Eternal Hot Pink from eBay, there was a little bit of confusion. The seller had pictures of its Eternal ink in different colours, but all the labels of the ink just had the word caramel printed on them. The only reason that I knew it was hot pink was because it was called hot pink in the description. But guys, I mean, these sellers, they're so unprofessional that they think it's okay to seemingly have, you know, random photos of any old labels to showcase their genuine inks. And I was actually a little bit disappointed when it arrived and it said hot pink on the label, because I really wanted it to say caramel. But there you go. So now let's compare side by side our genuine bottle of Eternal ink against our Chinese bottle of caramel. Again, there's huge differences between the colours, huge differences between the labels, with the clone one just looking like the genuine one's homeless half-brother. So now we're going to delve a little deeper into these inks and we're going to lift the lids. So this is obviously the genuine bottle of Intenze Baby Blue, and with this style of lid there's no need to unscrew it to remove any seals. Just one simple twist of the top and it's open and it's ready to go. Nice consistent flow, consistent colour, and it's got a silkiness to it in a way that it just flows around the dish. Now I really want you to focus on the colour of this, because after all this is called Baby Blue. And that's exactly what colour this is. In stark contrast to this, here we have the cloned bottle of Intenze Baby Blue. With this one, we have to first remove the lid. And in here, I found a random white piece of card. Absolutely no idea why it's there. Then, when it comes to removing the seal, I found they'd actually put two of them on it. Again, absolutely no idea why. Two for the price of one, maybe. I don't know. But more concerning was when I lifted the seal, you can see this horrible, stringy, sticky glue type substance. Further to this, there's a grotty looking substance all crusted around the rim. I think it's excess glue that's clearly been applied with no regards to hygiene, and also no regards to it actually contaminating the ink or whatever substance that is inside that bottle. Now, when we move to our cloned Baby Blue, straight away you can look how dark this ink is. I mean, not in any world is this colour Baby Blue. Here's the colour comparison of the two side by side, and again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that these are completely different to each other, even though the one on the right claims to be the exact same product as the one on the left. Now, because this Eternal one is brand new, it's got a seal on it, but it doesn't contain a random pointless piece of card like the previous clone. And first up, we've got our genuine ink being poured. Again, it's got a nice smooth silkiness to it, and also a rich, vibrant colour. Absolutely stunning colour and consistency with this ink. And if we lift the lid of the clone, again, just like the other one, we've got our obligatory piece of random unsterilised card. And again, we've got our 2 for the price of 1 seals, which ironically say sealed for protection. To be fair, the only way it's really going to protect anyone is if it just stays sealed forever. Now when we remove the seal from our bottle of caramel, once again we've got a crusty dry residue around the rim, making our bottle look from the off really grubby and certainly not sterile. Even the plastic on these cloned ink bottles are different. They're a lot thicker than the genuine products, which in turn makes them quite difficult to squeeze and actually get the ink out of them. And just like the other example, the colour is off from the original. So that was just a quick colour comparison, just to show how these inks present huge differences when you start to peel back the layers and delve a little deeper. So next up is a little experiment, firstly pulling a line with a cotton bud dipped into the genuine ink with a piece of paper, just to see how consistent the colour was, and then the same again with the cloned ink. So first of all, I dip a clean cotton bud into the genuine Intense baby blue. I pull a line and the ink stays consistent, vibrant and solid all the way along the line. Now when I repeat these steps for the cloned ink, I was genuinely surprised at how poor quality the saturation of the line was. So much so that I actually thought I'd done something different than what I did when I pulled the first line. So after a little think, I realised that I'd pulled the first line with my left hand and the second line with my right hand. And being as though I'm left-handed, I was thinking maybe my left hand unknowingly applied a little bit more pressure or something like this. So I decided to pull another line again with the cloned ink, but this time with my left hand. Again, the result was really poor. And to make sure the first line of the genuine Intense wasn't a fluke, I decided to pull 3 lines all together, and the results obviously speak for themselves. Complete lack of saturation from the cloned ink. I can only imagine what a nightmare it would be to try and colour pack this cloned ink into a real person's skin. So to cut a long story short, once again, the genuine Eternal ink pulls a nice solid saturated line, with the clone ink failing to deliver yet again with a weak, unsaturated, poorly looking line. So about a week after receiving my bottle of caramel, I received a message from the eBay seller asking if I'd received my bottle of ink and if I was happy with the purchase. So this gave me the perfect opportunity to have direct contact with the rogue seller, so I decided to message them back. Added to this, I thought since I'm messaging one of the sellers, I didn't want the other seller of the Intense to feel left out, so I decided to message them as well. So I wrote the following message to the Eternal seller. Hi, I received my ink fast and in great condition. The colour seems slightly darker than my usual Eternal ink. Is this genuine Eternal ink or is it a clone? So I waited a day and surprisingly they replied and I got this rather generic response. They said, "Thank you for your message. We are really sorry to hear the problem. We much apologise for all the trouble and inconvenience caused. Could you please kindly take photos about this problem for our reference if convenient? And we will solve it for you. Please don't worry. If any other situation, please feel free to tell us. Hope to hear from you soon. Have a nice day." So I'm thinking, okay, I've opened up a line of communication now. So I replied to them. There's no problem with the bottle. It just seems a bit darker than the usual Eternal ink that I buy. And needless to say, they just ignored me from there on. They just didn't reply to any more messages that I sent them. So then I messaged the Intense seller. The message read just like the first one. Hi, I received my ink fast and in great condition. The colour seems to be slightly darker than my usual Intense ink. Is this a genuine Intense ink or is it a clone? Now I'm pleased to say, a day later, I did get a response from the seller and it wasn't a generic one. And it did answer all my questions. It put my mind at ease as to whether or not the ink was actually genuine. It made me feel quite silly for even questioning their integrity in the first place, because they replied with this. "Friend, don't worry, it's genuine." What the I mean, how can I argue with that, guys? You know, I'll order 100 bottles, sleeve me up. But joking aside, these are the sort of people that you're dealing with when you buy from places like eBay and Amazon. In some sort of respects, they're above the law in what they're actually getting away with. Because I'm sure if I decided to open up let's say, a fast food restaurant and thought to myself, I could create my own menu and think of a name, but hey, McDonald's are successful, so I'll stick up some golden arches. Doesn't matter if they're a bit wonky, doesn't matter if they're an off shade of green instead of yellow. I'll sell Big Macs, but when the customer opens the box, they'll get a burger made out of rat meat and the packaging will have loads of greasy crust stuck to it. But it's okay, because if anyone complains and says it's not McDonald's, I'll just say to them, friend, don't worry, it's genuine. Somehow, I don't think I'd be allowed to get away with that, but in essence, that's exactly what's happening in tattoo land. So to conclude this video, guys, I want to make my opinions super clear on purchasing cloned ink. Buying and using cloned ink isn't just irresponsible, it can potentially be super dangerous to put into human skin. Now, the big branded companies spend so much money putting their products through vigorous testing stages before the final product's even passed off and safe to sell to the public. And it's these super strict tests, as well as using the highest quality ingredients, together with sterile labs where the products are actually made, which gives them the price tag that they're sold at, which, to be fair, don't cost the earth anyway. Now, by purchasing ink from only reputable suppliers like I do from Barber DTS, I have the confidence to know that I'm receiving a genuine product that's been created under laboratory conditions, it's going to be consistent colour, and most importantly, it's going to be safe to put into the skin. Now, it was quite some time ago, there was a documentary on the BBC, and it was highlighting the dangers of cloned ink. And what they did, I think it was a bottle of Intenze, a cloned bottle of Intenze. And they broke this down to see what was actually in it. And they found that it contained the E. coli bacteria. And worse than this, they even found traces of human feces. Now, like I said in a previous video, I'm not for 1 second suggesting that the people that work in these cloned ink factories, are using the ink mixers as a massive toilet. But it does highlight the complete and total disregard for sanitation, where these inks are being bottled and mixed. Now, like I always say with regards to tattooing, there's absolutely no right or wrong way. Everybody has their own personal preferences, but I will say this. Buying cloned ink from the likes of eBay and Amazon is completely and utterly wrong. It's fraudulent. It's damaging to the tattoo industry, and it's beyond irresponsible to put it into a client's skin. If you're ever in any doubt whether you're buying a genuine product, some manufacturers actually have a list of genuine suppliers with resale rights to their product on their official websites. So if you are in doubt, just do a quick check of the name of the seller, and if they're not on the list on the official website, then I'd be extremely cautious. So just one final point that I want to make, guys, with regards to people that say, the big brands, they're just a rip-off and you just fill in big corporate companies' pockets with your cash and words to this effect. What you need to remember is this. Most of the big brands out there didn't spring up overnight and were created as, a result of rich business people plowing money into a product that they know nothing about. Most of these companies were born from an idea from just one person. And the companies that you see thriving in the tattoo industry now are results of years of knockbacks, blood, sweat, tears, and artists that struggled but persisted and wouldn't quit until the product made it. And I think it's immoral that someone's once vision, dream, who struggled and took risks to make that vision become a reality, then some company just comes along and steals this person's lifelong work. They just slap a half-arse label on an ink bottle and make money off their backs. And I think I'd be naive to think that these clone factories will one day stop doing what they're doing, because the truth is, for every one that gets shut down, there's probably another 3 that spring back up. So I personally believe it's down to us, the artists, to stand together and say, no, we're not going to buy your knockoff bottles of caramel or whatever you're going to name it this week, whatever you can be actually bothered to put on the label. And only then, when we take away their cause for demand, will we eventually stop their need to supply. So that's all from this video, guys, and it means the world to me if you did like it, just to take a second out and smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Stay up to date with all my latest videos by clicking the notification bell. Feel free to drop your comments in the box below and let me know what you thought of this video. With all that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.